Hey, welcome back to the library. This might be the most cursed episode I've ever done. So to start, we're going to be talking about NBA Jam Extreme. For those of you that don't play the NBA Jam games, one of their most popular and well-known features are the hidden characters. And the way you unlock the hidden characters is at the stat tracking entry, where normally you put in your initials and a birthday, especially at the arcade, so you can have your own save data to make progress through the game. You would input a specific set of initials and birthday while holding a certain button, and that would unlock the hidden character. For example, in Tournament Edition, if you put in FNK, I think it's January 8th, you would get Frank Thomas from the Chicago White Sox. Now, where NBA Jam Extreme comes in, and why this has just been the most ridiculous episode I've ever done, is that in NBA Jam Extreme, if you type in a hidden character's name, instead of unlocking just that character, you actually unlock the whole team, which poses a problem. When it comes to Project Up One, no matter which team member's name you input, you always unlock the full team, but the selection tumbler is always on person 1. So, unless the initials are a really perfect match for the person you're trying to unlock, as well as the team, it makes confirming the code really hard to do. And then a whole lot of stuff happened. So let's start from the beginning. I was about 75% through the code base for the characters, and something weird started happening. Not only were the initials not matching up in any way, shape, or form to the person it was telling me it unlocked, that person wasn't on the team. Out of 6 characters, it was really confusing. So I got through the rest of the credits, and sure enough, like the back 25% just didn't make any sense at all. There were typos. Different sites kept spelling different people's names wrong, like Berg being B-E-R-G or B-U-R-G, when I believe it's B-E-R-G. Character called the Brain became Brained. Like, it was so weird. So I was like, all right, you know what? First sign of trouble, we're going to go to the instruction manual, we're going to get the credits, and we're going to figure out who the hell belongs on these teams. The problem is that there are no credits in the instruction manual for NBA Jam Extreme. Not on the PlayStation, not on the Saturn. So I realized, okay, I'm probably going to have to play through the whole game to see the credits. So, thankfully, there's a GameShark code that allows one of the 2 teams to never score. Doesn't matter how many baskets they make, their score is always 0. So I set that on the away team, let the PlayStation play itself, and while that was taking care of the season, I started scrubbing YouTube videos, and no one has played NBA Jam Extreme for the entire season. So I couldn't use that for credits. Moby Games doesn't have any either. I finally found someone who played the arcade game for a full 4 quarters. Periods? Quarters? I have no idea. I don't watch sports. And they finally had the arcade credit screen. And the problem is, their credits are all made up. They're jokey. They're funny. Haha, isn't it great? So I couldn't use those either. So I went back to the PlayStation and the GameShark. Finally get to the playoffs. Finally get to the finals. And after the first 2 finals, they flip you. Instead of being the home team, you're now the away team. And I went, oh, let me flip the GameShark code. So I flipped the GameShark code, and I let the 2 games play, and I look over, and my track record is 2 wins, 2 losses. And I'm like, that's impossible. I've got the GameShark code running. Turns out, in trying to correct all the programmer's cheats, I discovered a typo with the GameShark codes. It's not home team and away team, it's player 1 slot and player 2 slot. So, rewrote the save, flipped the codes back, went through the tournament again. Got through all that. Finally won the finals. And there's no credits. You know what happens? You have to fight through all the hidden teams. All of them. So I put the GameShark code back on. Plowed through all the hidden teams. And after all that, there's no credits. There's no credits. You just start the loop all over again. In this situation, I was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. I have the GameShark Pro. We can go in the text editor. The nice thing about programmer's cheats is that they are hard coded into the game, especially if they're passwords. So using the GameShark, I did a search for one of the hidden character's initials and found the entire list of cheat credits in the game. Sweet. Transcribed all those. Noticed something weird. After a few names, suddenly these random symbols would start being listed after the player codes. Those symbols aren't in the keypad, which means they had to be doing something. So, after transcribing all the codes with all the symbols, it was discovered that those symbols are assigning characters to teams. So, like, anyone with a star after them might be on Team Squid. Cool. But then you go back, and it turns out all the characters with no symbols after their names are all the codes I'm having problems with. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, wait, if the characters do unlock teams, how could they not have teams assigned to them? I don't know. That is why I was hoping to find the source code on social media with social media's help, like a week ago before filming all this. So, with that chaos, there was only one thing left to do. Go to the PlayStation version, go to the Saturn version, and go to the arcade version, and frickin' map out every person on every team. And I did that, and that's when I discovered the god bleeping chaos. I keep using that word. Trust me, it's okay. I don't know if it was sculptured software. I don't know if it was a claim. But here's the cause of all my problems. In the roster, if you start with the arcade in the middle, and then you branch off PlayStation and Saturn to left and right, and start going through the roster and highlighting, okay, who's here, who's here, who's here, you realize what happened. On the home console ports, when they were swapping out an arcade staff member with a home team member, they didn't swap the initials. So basically, on the PlayStation version, it could be an arcade developer's name and passcode, but when you get to the PlayStation, it's that arcade person's name, but with the passcode with the home developer's name and picture. They only swapped half the cheat code. So, cool. And you can ask the people on Discord, I lost my ever-loving shit for like a week straight trying to figure this out. Cool. We got all that mapped out. Now, in NBA Jam Extreme, there are like 5 different type of code cheats that you can input, be it before the game starts, at the team selection screen, etc., whatever. There is a specific set of cheats that use the name entry as well, where you have to basically spell out words, but you can only spell out the word 2 letters at a time and then delete those 2 letters and repeat and continue. So like if you're trying to unlock the sound test and the word was kazoo, you would do K-A backspace backspace Z-O backspace backspace O, hear a chime to confirm it worked, backspace once more, and then you can input whatever names you want in the entry screen. I got most of those to work, but for some reason, Shootout, which is supposed to unlock the minigame that actually, side tangent, is the basis of the NBA 2-ball demo, that won't work, and the sound test won't work. Even Tips and Tricks has the Shootout code, and it won't work. And I don't know why, because the sound test won't even work on the arcade version. So in trying to search for those guys, I found them to confirm that they were in there, and they had to be at least in there code-wise because I was getting the confirmation sound. And I found out 2 of the codes that all these sites are saying are in the game aren't in the game, but there are 3 codes that confirm activation that no one has listed, but they don't work either. Why do I do this to myself? With that all said, I turn to you, Internet, to help me out. With the name situation finally figured out, the main problem is the Shootout and the sound test code. And I think there's like 2 others, but we'll get to those eventually. I need to make sure I am not losing my mind and there isn't something extra I should be doing to actually get these 2 tricks to work. So, as I mentioned before, if anyone has the source code, which was sold for like $100 along with I think Turok a few years ago, someone out there has that source code, and if we can actually read the source code, we might be able to figure out what the missing button presses are in the arcade and transcribe them to what would be on the PlayStation controller. It would be phenomenal. The other random joke and why this video took so long, and I'm just rambling now, is a bunch of the arcade team members, their names actually unlocked all the teams, not just what theirs would have been on. And part of the chaos is that in swapping out characters for the home conversions, they also started swapping what teams members were on. And that was a lot of fun to figure out. The one team member actually unlocks 3 teams instead of all or one, and I thought that was a glitch for a solid week. And then I went to try it on the arcade again, and the arcade unlocks the 3 teams because the game is just trolling me at this point. But yeah, guys, this video started life 3 weeks ago as like a, hey, we've got a huge mystery on our hand. Is it possibly a glitch? Blah, 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 blah. And after banging my head against it with the help of Hybrid from I Am Error and a couple other people, it has devolved into just a few things don't work, and I'm done. So yeah, any help you can provide would be fantastic. I will see you guys next episode. I am here when you need me. Be safe, you guys. Take care.